most important thing you can do as a first-time buyer in the city of Toronto is get a really good understanding of what your budget and what your costs are associated with housing. And in our context, we're talking about Toronto condo numbers, the cost to either rent or buy different types of Toronto condos, and getting a sense how that can associate with your budget. So what we like to do every single month over here is break down different condo layouts and what they cost on a month-to-month basis and on a seasonal basis as well. So if you're in Toronto and you're looking at renting your first condo or you're looking at purchasing your first condo, this is the channel for you. Like, subscribe, and we have the same content coming out every single week, and we have a video like this every single month, keeping you posted on those costs. And if you don't know me, my name is Gabriele Battista from Homes into Reality. I'm a Toronto real estate agent focusing on bringing you weekly content about being a first-time buyer in the city of Toronto, educating you so when you're ready to make that first big move, you can do so with confidence. Like, subscribe, follow for more. So into the content now, we do look at the medium price point to rent and buy for these condo numbers. The main reason is, as first-time buyers, as you guys watching this video, it's important to note that we don't want to get skewed by the average of luxury properties, and especially because, let's say, your 2 bedrooms can get pretty big and pretty luxury. Your average price point is a skewed stat. So I like to look at the median price point to see what a realistic price point for you to get into that first condo looks like. We're going to go through our rental numbers. First, we're looking at a median price point to rent a studio condo at $2,100 a month. That has been pretty flat for the past couple months. With that being said, you notice that in the last few months, especially the end of 2023, we had a big spike in prices where the median price point got all the way up to $2,300 in the peak of that student market craziness that happens every single summer. But they've come back down to reality, and they've really stayed at $2,100 for over a year now when we go back to I would say the average of all the months. Moving on to your 1 bedrooms. If we look at our 1 bedroom properties, the median price point to rent is $2,357 a month. That is down about $20 from last month. So we are seeing a trend that prices have been coming down for your 1 bedroom condos. They've been slowly skewing down since, again, their peak in the summer months. Now, 1+10s are telling a very similar tale, where the median price point to rent is $2,555 a month, which is only a $200 increase from a 1 bedroom to a 1+10. There might be some extra value there if you're looking to rent your first condo. With that being said, they have been skewing downwards from their peak in August of over $2,800 a month. They've been slowly but surely coming back down to what a more realistic price point was in the beginning of the year. You'll see with the 1+10s, they're pretty much the same point as they were last year. And your last layout and your biggest layout is your 2 bedrooms, a pretty common, pretty popular layout. We're seeing that price point follow a very similar trend, where prices have been coming down from their peak, where they were almost $3,400 a month. But now your median price point to rent a 2 bedroom is $3,027 a month, or just above that $3,000 price point, which is where we were this time last year. So all across the board, prices are coming down slowly but surely from their peak, and they really haven't shown a sign of bottoming out. They are slowing their decrease in these price points, but very slowly but surely, they are still coming down to maybe what they were this time last year, showing very little rental growth in the Toronto rental market. Well, if we look on a big picture, we mentioned that rents have been coming down from their peak, and they really haven't shown signs of stopping, but they have shown signs of slowing down that rental decrease. We're probably going to have a pretty steady rental market. My guess, until we get into the new year, you see all the graphs. We have that blue little dot showing the beginning of 2023. My gut tells me we follow a very similar pattern, where rental prices are flat until that craziness of summer, and they're probably going to come back down. The good news for people who are renting is, because so many units coming into the market are now brand new construction units where there's no rental control on it. I'm actually going to throw up the rent control rule over here on how anything after November 15th of 2018, there's no rent control on these units. The good news for people like that who are looking at brand new properties is, if there's no rental growth in the market, it'll actually discourage landlords with those non-rent control units from raising the rent very significantly. Because if they cannot replace you at a similar rental cost, they're not going to raise the rent abnormally or out of this world. They want to keep up with market, and if the market has really little growth going on in the market, that's good for you because it gives you an opportunity to negotiate on that end. But that's really important that rents have been relatively flat on the tenant end. And then it's also showing, let's say, we'll talk a little bit later about condo prices. There might be a bit of a crunch for some landlords who need to see rental growth for their property investment to make sense. So those are your rental numbers, but let's move on to your purchasing numbers. If you're a first-time buyer, maybe you're currently renting, you want to compare what those rental numbers are versus your purchasing numbers. And for us, we like to look at the median price point of different purchasing prices. We're going to start with our studio condos. This number is always very volatile because there's such little inventory that transact on the market. Anywhere between 15 to 25 properties transact on a monthly basis. So one sale can still skew it, even though it's a medium price point. We're looking at a medium price point to purchase a studio at $450,000. Again, very low inventory. You'll see the graph that comes up. We're seeing lots of peaks and bounds and jumps in prices. That's mostly because there's such little inventory and the volatility is pretty high. But you can notice that the prices have overall shot downwards with time, even though these prices are up month over month by 20K. They have been kind of trending downwards as the past 3 years have been going on. Moving now on to your one bedrooms, and one bedrooms are following an interesting stat. They are relatively stable in price point. We have seen prices fall slowly but surely for one bedrooms over the past 3 or 4 months, but we are pretty stable. Last month we were at a median price point of $540,000, and now we're looking at $541,000. We'll throw up the graph over here. You see the new blue line. We're essentially congruent or in the same spot as we were this time last month, but you'll notice that we are lower than this time last year. So we have seen property values decrease year over year after that big crazy jump up in 2023. But overall, prices for condos have been relatively flat. A very similar story with one plus dens with a median price point of $618,386. If we throw up the graph in front of my face again, you notice that the blue line is essentially congruent with this time last year, where we've seen pretty stable property prices, and month over month being a similar thing where prices have essentially not moved a ton on a month-to-month basis. And lastly, your two beds. This property type actually transacts the most out of all condos that are being purchased in the market, in the resale market right now. We're looking at a median price point of $700,625 a month. That is up $625 from last month. So very, very stable. And it shows essentially a summary of what we've been seeing in other property types, in the sense that we saw essentially not a free fall of prices, but if we look at the jump where July property prices were at their most, $781,000 for a two bedroom. Now we're kind of at, let's say, maybe a bottom where $700,000 is steady out. The decreases have stopped for the time being. We'll see what happens in February, but prices have definitely slowed their decreases down, and for the past 3 property types have been stable on a month-to-month basis. It's also pretty important to know that properties that are transacting in higher numbers than last month. December tends to be a very slow month, so is January, but we definitely are seeing more transactions of condos happening in the market right now. For example, the one that transacts the most, like I said, was 2 bedrooms. Last month, we had 173 2 bedrooms transact on the resale market, versus this month in January, we had 256 new 2-bedroom properties transact on the market. So that is a pretty big increase, but we were dealing with really small numbers in the December month. So we are seeing more volume transact, but we're seeing prices stay flat. So that's really important to know that we're getting more transactions, more data, more accurate information. Now, what does this mean for you as a first-time buyer? I would tell you to really keep an eye on your numbers, get a sense of what's happening in the market, and by watching videos like this every single month or every single week, because we post a bunch of different real estate content for first-time buyers, but get a sense of what's going on in the market. If you think you're 6 months away from making a move, that's totally okay, but know what's going on in the market on a month-to-month basis. Maybe don't do a ton of research, watch videos like this, and I can help you educate you on the market, but get a sense of what's going on in the market. We're seeing, at this point, prices stabilize and stop falling as quickly as they were in the condo space. Will that continue? I'd say to some extent, I expect it to continue as the spring market gets a little bit busy. I don't see prices going crazy for condos. I think they're probably still going to be pretty stable, even as the market gets a little bit busier. But it's important that you are on top of the market and know what's going on and what your properties that you're looking at are actually worth. Now, if you think this is something you want to learn more about, if you're a condo buyer in Toronto over the next 3 to 6 to a year, 2 years, and you really want to get a sense of what that market looks like for your specific situation, because I tell you, I can give you all the condo numbers you want, but if you want to break down your situation a little bit further, it's always best to touch base a little bit further. In the description, you have my phone number, my email, and a link to book a call with me. All the information is, funny enough, over here as well. You can touch base about getting an appointment, talking with me directly about what your first-time buying goals look like, and we can go from there. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Again, you can reach me, like, subscribe, comment what you want to see more of. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your February. Bye.